Do you guys have any idea how long I've waited for this game? 9 years! That's how long it was between Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 3. Sure, I was playing and waiting on more games during that time, but I always wanted to know when another Pikmin game would come out. I thought, maybe it'll be a few years till they announce it. I'll be good and wait. Add a few more years to it when Miyamoto finally said that they were working on Pikmin 3 back at a roundtable discussion at E3 2008. I was getting excited, but sadly, 3 more E3s happened and still no sign of Pikmin 3. Turns out that they decided to change platforms and develop it for their next system, the Wii U. Okay, I can understand that. It was finally shown off at E3 2012, and was easily the best new game they showed, and the one that some consider to be the only good thing about the show, and I agree with them. It was going to be released near the launch window of the Wii U. Okay, that's good. But was then delayed till about spring 2013. Okay, they need a little more time. And was then delayed until August 2013. Insert censor bleep. You are killing me, Nintendo! Well, it turns out that the problem was they still haven't gotten the whole HD graphics thing down yet. A problem that has also plagued some of their other games that would also be delayed. It's at this point that I wish development went as smoothly as Pikmin 2's development did, and I'm sure everyone else felt that way. So here we are, at Pikmin 3. Was the long wait worth it? I'm just going to go ahead and spoil that for you right now. Yes, it was worth it! But just barely. Unlike the first 2 games, Pikmin 3 has you play as 3 new captains, Alf, Brittany, and Charlie. You see, their planet Kopai has a hard time trying to handle their resources and is going to run out of food, so they send out spacecraft after spacecraft to find another planet that has edible resources. It all looked bleak until the very last one discovered the planet they call PNF 404 and sent our 3 captains to bring back as much fruit as they can. But as soon as they get close to the planet, there's an accident. The game doesn't tell you what caused it, but I have my hunch. Let's listen.
Something.
Did you hear it?
Something.
It sounded like that stupid duck hunt dog! Stupid trolling dog! Sadly, our 3 captains get separated while crashing. The first part of the game has you trying to find the other missing captains, and wouldn't you know it, the Pikmin are here and can help them out. But even after having all 3 captains, you'll still need to find the cosmic drive key they lost, otherwise they can't get back home. I won't go any further, but let's just say it's more story-driven this time than the previous 2 games, and to be honest, I think it pulls it off rather well. It's not the greatest story ever, but it's enough to hold your attention while exploring the planet, finding fruit, converting vicious creatures to more helpers, all that good stuff. Since this is the 3rd entry in the series, let's see how fast I can sum up the gameplay, then talk about the changes and additions. It's a real-time strategy game. About 14 to 16 minutes equals 1 day. The captains must rely on Pikmin for nearly everything: take down creatures bigger than you, retrieve fruit, bring pellets and corpses back to be transformed into more Pikmin, and enjoy your time doing so. Recap time is over, let's talk about the new things. The most important change is the fruit you gather. You start off with a 3-day supply of fruit. After that, you better get collecting, because each piece of fruit means that's 1 more day you get to stay alive. In Pikmin 2, defeated bosses would give you enhanced abilities. Once you get to a boss and kill it in Pikmin 3, they vomit out an item that lets you get to a new area. And puked up fruit. Can't wait to have that later tonight. It's the stomach acid that gives it a real kick. Oh, and if the boss is giving you trouble, you can come back the next day and it'll have the same amount of health it left off with last time. Once again, the red, yellow, and blue Pikmin return to action. But I've only seen the white and purple Pikmin in the mission mode, and I haven't seen the Bulbmin at all. I miss those little freaks. Instead, you now get the rock Pikmin that can break glass, cause a little more damage when thrown, but they can't hang on to an enemy. But they also can't get squashed, automatically making the Pikmin you should always want to have with you. And you have the winged Pikmin, which are the weakest fighters, but can carry things over water and obstacles, and are supposed to be really good against airborne enemies. Which reminds me, Trollbug, winged Pikmin, Troll it! And unlike the purple and whites, these guys have onions, and the onions will actually combine into 1 onion, so you can just get all the Pikmin out of 1 onion instead of 5. I love it when games make these little conveniences! Speaking of which, you can now lock onto an enemy. The cursor tells you exactly how many Pikmin you have with you, and how many of each type. And you can have the gamepad act as a map that tells you where all the Pikmin are, and the fruit once you've collected 10 different kinds. And you can even send the other captains to other areas without having to keep an eye on them. Now this is what I call effective multitasking, and a great way to show how the gamepad can really enhance the experience. It doesn't feel gimmicky one bit and takes advantage of nearly everything that makes the Wii U special. About time. There's been a few minor changes to the gameplay this time, and I thought I'd point out a couple of them for those who have yet to play this game. First is that the underground areas from Pikmin 2 no longer exist, so I already like it more than the second game. While others enjoy the challenge those brought, I found them to be rather annoying with your limitations of your Pikmin soldiers and the vast number of caves that completely overpower the time you spent in the sun. Plus, there are those extremely frustrating enemies you just wish you could stare at them until they died! Instead, there are these little holes that your Pikmin can dig into, and can uncover a number of items, with the most important ones being bridge parts and bomb rocks. Yep, the bomb rocks from Pikmin 1 are usable again, and any Pikmin can use them this time. Unfortunately, I can't think of anything more clever to say than have a blast, so moving on. The bridge parts are like a new puzzle element, but not really. In previous games, you had to unroll the bridges in order to get across water, or carry an item back. Here, you just find parts that form together to make a bridge. Once a Pikmin picks one up, they'll automatically go back to where they got one and get another. But once it's finished, they just stay there. I wish they would know to regroup with me, but I guess I can either wait for them to finish, or leave a captain there in case it gets dark. Spicy Spray returns, but sadly the Bitter Spray does not show up. But Spicy Spray is back, so I'm not too upset. Overall, most of the changes that have been made were designed so that the game is a lot more user-friendly. The game feels more streamlined than the previous two games, thus making it an overall enjoyable experience from beginning to end. And I haven't even gotten to the parts that I liked yet, though some of them have already been mentioned. I can't hold this back anymore. Look at those graphics! Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 look great for the time, but this one, I'm at a loss of words to describe how incredible this looks! Man, I really need to expand my vocabulary. The detail, the textures, the lighting, everything looks outstanding and top of the line! The Wii U isn't next gen. This game alone begs to differ. If for some reason you're so stubborn to admit how wonderful this looks, then tell me that fruit doesn't cast a mesmerizing, realistic look to it. Willy Wonka, where is your stupid TV that lets me take things off the screen and eat them? Yes, graphics don't make the game, but when the presentation is on par with the gameplay, you've got a match made in heaven. This is the first time I've played the Pikmin games using the Wiimote and Nunchuck. If I had known it was this good, I would have bought the new Play Control versions years ago. But I've got other games to get to, and it's hard to find the first one for a cheap price, so that ship has sailed. Yes, it's true, you cannot move the Pikmin around you using the C-stick like you could in the first two games, but it does give you the option to have them all attack at once, and when you find the dodge whistle in the distant tundra, you can have them dodge left or right, which is really helpful against the Scornet Maestro boss fight. Speaking of which, there are only 6 real bosses in the game, but boy do they put up a good fight, especially the last two, and if you really like them, you can replay them in the mission mode, which has also been a bit upgraded this time. You can either fight the bosses, find the fruit and treasure, or genocide, with all of them having a different time limit and different medals to earn, with platinum being the highest. There's also DLC mission levels, and each new set they come up with gives you at least one free stage, and they are relatively cheap. I just haven't gotten a points card in a while to actually buy them. Co-op mode returns for the challenges, which is always a great time, as well as the versus mode where, something about bingo, or automatic macaroon victory. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really played this part that much. I'd be able to play it a lot more if there was an online mode, but what are you gonna do besides play the single player mode while your friends are busy? In the main game, there are 4 areas and the final part, which I will say the formidable oak can go die in a fire. But all the other places are larger than we've seen before and are quite enjoyable to hike through. Pikmin 2 focused more on the exploration and overpowering your enemies in order to beat the game. They didn't do all that much in terms of puzzles. Here, you should be able to encounter a number of well-made and thought-out puzzles. A few of them are kind of lazy, but they weren't really supposed to be brain teasers. Most of the best ones are based on throwing the captains to reach other areas. Still, I'm grateful that this actually feels more like a natural part of the game instead of feeling tacked on. The same is true for using the gamepad as an overhead map so you can scan around for more fruit, send more captains with Pikmin in case you need them, or try to find any Pikmin that got lost, cause trust me, they will get lost and it will get on your nerves unless you don't care about them, you monster. And while the series always had those enemies that would get on my nerves like beady longlegs, snagrets, and gatling grunts, the new enemies are nowhere near as annoying or can kill off multiple Pikmin in a heartbeat. Even the old nuisances that return are nowhere near as bad, but still offer a challenge to take down. Balance has finally been found. Oh, and it almost slipped my mind, but the Pikmin no longer trip. I am so proud of you guys for learning how to master the art of walking. Mainly my biggest complaint, and the only one that feels like an actual negative, is when your Pikmin gets stuck behind a wall or something. Or start carrying an item, and then just lose interest about halfway through their job. They'll give up, and it feels random as to when they quit. And if you don't keep track of them, well, it's your loss in a feeding frenzy for the Bulborbs. Oh, and you can't control how zoomed in or out the camera angles are, but you have the gamepad to act as an overhead map, so there's that to make up for it. I will say that if it's your first time playing, then get ready to redo some days, or if you're fine sacrificing your Pikmin for progress, then keep going, you jerk! Well, to be fair, that's something that's not new to the series, as the franchise has always felt like a trial and error type of game. What does kind of bother me is that you only have one save file. It's cool that you can go back in time to previous days and just play them for the heck of it, but if you really want to start a new file, you'll either need a separate Me user account or erase your entire progress. The only good thing about this is you can always skip day 1 if you want to start over. My biggest complaint about the Pikmin series, and the main reason why I just couldn't give it a higher recommendation before, was because not everyone has the patience to put up with boring things like this. I was just trying to be realistic in the fact that a game like Pikmin 1 or 2 wasn't suited for everyone to be able to fully enjoy. Pikmin 3 does away with that crap by letting you take control of 3 captains at the same time, so moments where you have to wait around for things like this to be done are now the fault of the player themselves. Unless they haven't found all 3 captains yet. I know a lot of the fans miss using the C-stick to move Pikmin around, and I wish I could have the camera zoom in or out a little more, but I honestly feel that this is the best Pikmin game to come out so far. It may have taken them 9 years, but I feel they have succeeded in making a Pikmin game that just about anyone can pick up and enjoy. While a number of people found the game to be the easiest one so far with the bosses introducing a difficulty spike, I honestly feel like it's the closest thing to a perfect balance the series can pull off. It relies more on being able to handle your surroundings instead of cheap enemy placement. And once again, the challenge of trying to get a better record for collecting all 66 pieces of fruit, as well as the missions and versus mode, give it a strong replay value. And the music is as fitting as the first game. If you have a Wii U, I really hope you have it, otherwise you're only denying yourself one of the best experiences on the system to date. A 5 out of 5. It's a great game to add to your collection. Oh my gosh, the Pikmin don't drink all the nectar anymore on their own! They only drink a small portion. I'm so proud of them for not being little gluttons. And it may just be my imagination, but I don't think they lose their flowers anymore. These graphics are so amazing, it's almost hard not to use the camera to look around and see things more up close and personal. Ah! Buddy, what is up with your eye? It's not even on your head! You should see a doctor or a programmer about that! Am I the only one who's kind of creeped out watching the Pikmin drag the dead bodies back to their onions? Like, it seems so disturbing! You want to know why this game is so good? Because it was co-developed by Monolith Soft. What? Most of you still haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles yet? Well, in that case, did you play Skyward Sword, Animal Crossing New Leaf, or A Link Between Worlds? Because they help with those games too, you know! Pikmin 1 had 1 captain, Pikmin 2 had 2 captains, and Pikmin 3 had 3 captains. Oh man, I can't wait for Pikmin 100! 1 Pikmin for each captain, throwing the captains 99 times? I mean, I'll be dead long before that game comes out, but it'll be so awesome! And now it's time for more video suggestions, and since this video was about Pikmin, then it only makes sense to have some of the other videos that are also based on Pikmin. So there's the redo reviews of Pikmin 1 and 2, my 10 personal favorite Nintendo franchises because Pikmin is in there somewhere, and the video plug for today is something not related to Pikmin. It's the Elite Casual Gamer's list of his 100 favorite Pokemon, starting at Part 9. Yeah, I don't know why I'm not starting at Part 1 either, but Part 9's good. I have no plans to make the Kalos region list yet, so why not enjoy someone else's favorite Pokemon list, eh? Oh, and from time to time I'm going to be putting up a link to an upcoming review. So next up we have the Sonic reviews, so in case you don't see it in your subscription box, for some odd reason, you can check back with this video or my channel and see when it's uploaded. The redo review for Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is coming, and so are the others, so I'll get to work on those and I'll see you guys later.